Welcome back to Little House on Laurel. It's a beautiful summer afternoon and I am going to make raspberry mint iced tea. I just went out to my garden and I picked some fresh mint. I just love summertime because you can get all these fresh ingredients from your backyard. So I have mint and I have raspberries. Our raspberries are still growing right now in the backyard, so I had to buy these this time, but hopefully by the end of summer I'll be able to make this entirely from our backyard. In case you're wondering if it is possible to make herbal tea using fresh herbs, it definitely is. You just need to do your research on which herbs are safe to use fresh. For instance, when you use elderberries, you need to make sure that you pre-cook them before you use them in an herbal tea or any other recipe, because in their raw form they are poisonous. But mint is definitely safe. I have another recipe video that you can find for strawberry basil iced tea, and basil is definitely edible, as I'm sure you know. So there are many beautiful fresh herbs from your garden that you can use in herbal teas. Fresh herbal tea has many wonderful health benefits, just like dried herbal tea. You do need to use more fresh herbs versus when you're using dried herbs, just because dried herbs have a higher potency. So you would get the same benefits in a lesser amount of dried herbs than fresh herbs. You could definitely use frozen raspberries if you happened to have some on hand and you don't have fresh. You'll just want to thaw them out ahead of time. If you're using fresh raspberries, make sure that you wash them before starting this recipe. This recipe makes 4 cups. If you have one of these cold brews like I do, you can fit 8 cups in it, and so you would just double this recipe if you were going to fill this all the way up. So to start, you'll need to put a kettle on with at least 4 cups of water, a little bit more because you want to end up with 4 cups. You will want 6 to 8 tablespoons fresh mint. So I'm going to take the leaves off and then you'll chop that, and then you want 6 to 8 tablespoons of the chopped fresh mint. A half a cup of raspberries. And then for each quart-sized jar of iced tea that you're going to make, you'll need 1 tablespoon of pure maple syrup or honey, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla, plus lots of ice. While my water is coming to a boil, I'm going to take the leaves off of the mint. And I'm mostly just taking off the really big leaves. I'm not worrying about the tiny little ones. I'm just gonna cut this into thin strips. And the reason that you're cutting this is so that the flavor and the nutrients in the mint will easily steep out into the boiling water. Before I put those into our filter, we're going to just crush, or you could puree the raspberries. It's up to you what you want it to be like in your drink. I kind of like having pieces of raspberries in my tea, so I'm going to just crush them. But like I said, you could also puree these in a blender or food processor. Okay, and then you're going to put these in the bottom of your cold brew jar, or whatever you're pouring your hot water into to steep your tea. Now, if you don't want raspberries in your tea, you can place them in the filter with the mint. Now I'm adding the mint into the strainer. And place the strainer into the jar. I'm going to pour the boiling water over the herbs in the strainer. And I'm pouring it until I get to the 4-cup line. This mint smells so good already. Now I'm going to screw the lid on. But I'm not going to close the top all the way, or too much pressure will build up because of the heat, and we don't want the glass to shatter. I'm going to let that steep for 5 to 8 minutes. I prefer to do 8 minutes just so I get the most flavor. So I'll let that sit for 8 minutes. All right, it's done steeping, so I'm going to remove the lid. And I'm going to remove the filter. And I will discard the mint. And I'll place this back on. This is what I used to pour it with. And I will link this cold brew system in the description box. Obviously, we're not doing a cold brew, we're doing a hot brew, but this has always worked well for me. I haven't had any problems with the glass bursting or any cracking or anything like that. Now, you could put this in the fridge to cool. You could leave it at room temperature to cool, or you can, if you're in a hurry, just place it on a quart-sized jar full of ice, or you can use a large glass, and that's what I'm going to do. This does water down the taste a little bit because it melts the ice. It's not a big deal. And get some of those raspberries. There we go. Right, and then we're going to add a tablespoon of sweetener. You can use pure maple syrup or honey. You could also use sugar. I try to stay with natural sweeteners though. And a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to stir this up. I may have overfilled it a little bit. Just trying to get the raspberries. Okay. It looks and smells beautiful and refreshing. It's delicious. So something you could do too, if you want, is place some whole mint leaves in your drink, or just place them on top. I hope you'll make this for yourself. I think you'll really enjoy it. Take some time for yourself to relax and cool down from this hot summer weather. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do make this, please comment below and let me know how you enjoyed it. I hope we'll see you soon. Bye.